I think just sat here having a think. I think that there was like I've said it like a week ago, 2 weeks ago, something like that. But I think it's important that the other side of the canal is dredged, not just the towpath side, because even though it's onto woods on some sides and it's onto farmers' fields, it's still part of the canal. Do you know what I mean? It's like that's the privacy side, really. If you're on towpath side, all public can walk past and everything else, and they listen. You can listen, and it's like there can be grounds for complaints from public. I don't know why, because you're in your own home, so who the fuck, they don't pay to walk on the canal, so who the fuck are they to complain? Like, do you know what I mean? About I've no birds on and that, but like women make noise there's sometimes. Do you know what I mean? And then like certain medications make smells. Do you know what I mean? And that should be your privacy to indulge in what you need to indulge in to do what you need to do to be who you, whatever you do. You know what I mean? Like, then some of them things like to keep your mental health straight and to obviously like procreate and stuff like that. Do you know what I mean? To like just stuff that you would naturally do as a human being. Do you know what I mean? That it's like they're your human rights basically. So, well, you know what I mean? It's like it's the thing that you do. You keep your mental health straight, don't you? And then like bitches, do you know what I mean? Like have kids and stuff. So well, that's what you do. Like fucking and. Or even if you're a girl, what if you're a girl? And obviously you have a guy around and stuff like that. Do you know what I mean? Whatever. Don't want to hear like bzzz when you're by yourself and that. Do you know what I'm saying? And we don't want complaints from the public about stuff like that, like invasions of privacy. Like that, do you know what I mean? I had a kid come up to my window yesterday. Like I'm sat there, like fucking just sat at my table watching news on fucking phone on table and that, like, and this kid come up, like running up to the window, stuck her face up to the window. Has it even got a kitchen? Like hands on window and everything. And I turned down and I said, yeah, because it's someone's house. And it's like, and she ran away. But I wasn't nasty, do you know what I mean? It was just, that's a wow, man. Fuck me. Do you let your kids run up to fucking everybody's fucking windows? Up and down the street and that. Oh, have they even got a big TV? It's like, wow. Do you know what I mean? So many people look through your window. So I think there needs to be, this is a place for people to live. Do you know what I mean? It needs to be a thing of human rights. And I'm not being nasty. I think we need to do more about it. It's not that. On some bits of it, at one point, the old canal were like fancy. It were all done out nice. And there is still remnants of that. And if it's falling in fucking water when we're dredging it, drop it on sideways so it's there, and then we can put it back. Do you know what I mean? It's like it only takes a bit of common sense. Just like the stone, if we're pulling it out of the canal, put it back where it was, and then we'll rebuild. Like dig a bit of it back off, put some plates in. Do you know, to retain soil. It's a lot. It is work, but it's work. There's work there. Do you know what I mean? The better you make it, the more people will come. It's not as well like, and you're saying all these landowners, and that's not our land. We can't. But we need to make it compulsory that they're not spoiling the canal. It needs to be an order on everybody's land. That there needs to be a protection in place to make sure that the land don't proceed to that it don't fall into the canal. Now, if they can't afford to keep their land anymore and need to sell it off, I'm sorry, but that's what it is. Do you know what I mean? You're only asking for, if you've got an acre of field or whatever, it's only whatever, a few plates in it. Stick them things in ground. You'll get companies that'll just go around and do that up and down Edgett Canal. Fucking, you only have to go in a few feet. I think you could probably do it with a small digger. Fucking get a few of them plates and fucking push them down into the ground with digger. It only has to be fucking whatever 4 foot deep. As long as it's fucking, do you know what I mean? And then when they dredge it, it's fucking. Or realistically, if your land's falling into it, you should be trying to help out. Really, I've seen loads of fields where the field like just runs down into the fucking canal, and it's like, mate, there's not even a bank in there. What the fuck is this? Is not a river. Do you know what I mean? It got forgotten about for a long time, but it's still a big part of our heritage. It's a it's where a lot of businessmen, like at the time when we didn't have councils, it's where a lot of businessmen, well, where we did have town councils, but it was sort of slightly different to fucking. I think that's what it was. The town council were probably the richest men in the fucking town, and which is probably, I don't know. No, probably not true today, but it was then. And they were all the people who clubbed together with their money to put it into the canal. So it's like it wasn't a king or a queen who did it. It were lots of different businessmen, and that's a sign of how the times grew. It were canal first, then trade, and to just delete canal and say it didn't happen, it's a bit stupid, because it's like it was part of our history. It's like the lock keepers. Like, I'm not trying to. I'm not trying to like rob anyone out of their house or out like that. But I think the lock keepers was, and to be honest with you, some of the houses up and down have been modernised, and they're not lock keepers' houses. Well, they are. They're next to the lock. They're on the plot, but the heritage of it, like that aspect, in as prevalent as it is in them 1600 houses, and the little toilet blocks and stuff that are there and shit like that. That all needs to be kept, and it all needs to be like like that. That's a focal point. You know what I mean? They need to be made fancy. They're the thing to show off. Like when Yanks come and that lot, and it's like, or Chinese or whoever, Saudis and this, that, and other. Fucking, it's like they're things. Do you know what I mean? They're things that need to be tidy and fucking looking decent. And oh, look, there's this. It's as old as time, but it still works perfectly. And lockkeeper, I think that's an heritage thing where it should be one of them things where should be able to knock on the door and say, "Can you help us with locks?" sort of thing. Like, it should be on sign, like on every lock, or where there's lockkeepers' cottages, call it the lockkeeper's cottage for an hand. Do you know what I mean? And that should, it's a part of his history. I don't know how you'd organise it, but I think everybody who lives in the lockkeeper's cottages should work for Canal River Trust and help with locks. I'm sorry, but it should have been part of deeds when they sold the house, that you have to volunteer your services when you're available to. I know that's cheeked, but fucking, that's what it is, man. Because then, look at it, imagine it. You can cruise up the canal, stop at the lock, knock on the lockkeeper's old cottage, in the other hand. Oh, yeah, of course, can give you an unlit lock. all locks are fine because that lock keeper's keeping an eye on it and he's ringing them. Oh, hang on a minute, it's got stiff. I'm old. I need it fixing. It's being fixed. And then, um, see what we're not getting, right? You have fucking boat hire companies paying their CRT fees and this, that, and other. That ain't everybody who's come up fucking canal paying fucking a grand, is it? Them holidays need to be more expensive. And you can fucking call me. But Joe Public, you can call me. But do you know what I mean? It's not really a free ride for me. So, like, there needs to be something about that when people are coming on holiday on here. There needs to be a something, and then we've got money to keep putting in because there's lots of people coming on holiday on here. I was thinking about a walking tour because the walking, when you're saying like places have got highest footfall in Yorkshire, and you actually look at the footfall in some places, it's ridiculous, and people don't pay for that. During lockdown, I bet these paths have been wrecked, mate, from people who smashed it, and after lockdown, like now, paths are getting blazed, and they're on about. I've sat there and listened to them on about meandering at Earthlock. I know that that's going on. There's going to be a meander thing, so where it graduates on the fucking footpath. Who's paying for the footpath? Because I ain't walking on the fucking footpath. Do you understand what I mean? I think there needs to be some sort of fucking somewhere there, mate. There needs to be fucking somewhere. Because it ain't like everybody donates. It needs to be fucking. Even if you're charging £5 a year. Do you know what I'm saying? It's £5 for a card for a year. Or £10 a year. Whatever, man. Fucking, do you know what I mean? Like for your card to come down and walk on Canal. And it becomes more exclusivity, doesn't it? Do you know what I mean? You get more people. You get a different demographic. People who pay for it, even a tenner a year. And I don't know how you'd enforce it. You make it voluntary at first. Have you paid your um, towpath toll or something? Just a sign up and down. Pay by text or something like that, and receive a notification on your phone. And then if you're asked about Canal Trust, if you have, because it could be when you come down asking for donations, you can always stand there and do checks. Do you know what I mean? You've got people about. It's not that the. Do you know what I mean? I'm gonna leave that on that one because I think that's a serious. No, people don't go anywhere else to walk. Go to the canal to walk. There's all these businesses up and down that they go to that profit off of it. And I ain't saying some businesses do pay because they're close enough for canal owners, and other businesses they attract footfall, which and then vice versa. Do you know what I mean? It's one of them. It's could be done. £5 a year. Nobody be asked about £5 a year. And it's £5 a year off everybody who walks on canal, innit? I don't know, like people. Or what if we have to cut through? It's only a £5 a year, isn't it? Walk round. Well, you can't really walk round, I suppose. crossing it and stuff like that. But yeah, crossing it. Yeah, you can't really be charged for crossing it, can you? So, but then who maintains the canal bridges? That surely be local councils, won't it? I suppose depends what size of bridges, don't it? Which kind of bridges they are. But I suppose the bridges have to be there so that people can cross over, don't they? Public right away. But then everybody would say, "Oh, we're just crossing." Oh, we're just using it to get up and down. We go to work. Hmm. It's only a fiver a year, though, isn't it? Just to cut Canal. So I'm saying if it put a toll on bridges and that, or like a card reader or something like that.